Ladies and gentlemen, I have spent almost 10 years, last 10 years, climbing mountains, doing numerous motorcycle rides, and doing activities with people mostly younger than myself. So it has been very good time. And today I am here to tell a story that I came to personally in touch with just 2 years back. This is a story of a hardly 13, 14-year-old girl. Let's call her Anita Kumari. This 13-year-old girl studying in the 8th class in a public school in a small town of Patan, which is in the northern part of Gujarat. And Anita comes from a lower middle class. Her family belongs to Bihar, and her father is working in a manufacturing unit that is near Patan, and he is hardly earning 16,000 rupees for the family of five. Anita's two siblings, and the parents. Now, how she enabled herself to study in that public school? Thanks to her academic excellence and the generosity of that school's trustees who allowed her to get the admission in that reputed school. Now, what happens in our very first year in that campus? Someone from her new friends invited her to a birthday party. And believe me, that was the first ever birthday party of that small girl. She went there. She met so many people. And during that birthday party, someone from the upper classes offered her a dose of weed and told her if she can do it, then she will be part of that elite club. Because she was very new to the campus, she tried it. And eventually, within a week's time, she felt it doing again. Believe me, within 4 months, Anita became an addict. When I'm saying an addict means who needs 3 doses a day. Within just 4 months. This is a very simple curve of any drug addict. Now, the question comes, a regular drug dose in that part of Gujarat cost around 200 rupees. Doing this addiction cost her more than the salary of the whole family. How she will survive? How she will go with this addiction? Okay? And it is well understandable that she started doing shoplifting, stealing from here and there, from her own house, from the neighbors. She would sell any of her friend's mobile for a 2-3 dose of drugs. That is how desperation comes in. Once some addict is there, she need the dose on time anyhow, because that is what addiction looks like. And now, this story doesn't stop here. She started learning dark web. And while she was there in the 8th standard, sitting there in Patan, using the dark web, she was supplying drug up to Badmer, 400 kilometers from her house. She was supplying. Till now, she was a consumer. Now she is no more a consumer. Now she is a part of the drug cartel. You see? And even after doing this thing, now she is in touch with some of the peddlers who also does chemical drugs. Till now she was on a plant-based drug, say weed or opium, blah blah things, charas, ganja things. But now she is in touch with those people who are core into drugs. Now she got introduced into chemical drugs, and this dark web business is also not able to cope up with her new addictions, new chemical addictions, I would say. And by the time she entered in the 9th standard, hold your seats tight, guys, you will not accept this thing, that 14-year-old Anita Kumari started prostitution. Okay? And needless to say, who are the clients? The clients are the students of that same school from the upper classes and the nearby colleges. That 14-year-old girl is the living sex racket in that area. Okay? This is a story of one girl. And you know what the data shows? According to the National Drug Report, there are 15 million, I would say precisely 1 crore 58 lakh teenagers aged between 10 to 17 are drug addicts. It's a big problem now. And it is kind of a termite. You cannot identify the problem, you cannot see the symptoms until the whole thing is done. Okay? Now, what does it make to drop our youth or fall our youth into this kind of nuisance? This is the real question. And how do we address this? When it comes to fighting with this drug problem, we need to understand the reasons. What are the reasons? Why people are falling into this? Why the teenagers start into this drug cartel or become an addict? This is the survey. It shows 45% people did their first dose of drug because of peer pressure. Okay? 21% of them did because of the easy availability. Okay? This is the very reputed source to understand this data. The third is the curiosity. For every teenager, it is a kind of novelty-seeking approach. They always try to find something new. And this is where 17% of the people fall it into. When any teenager thinks that I can try it and then I can control it, no one tells them that they do not control the first dose. First dose will control them. This is the surety. This is how it works. So now, how we face this thing? How we control this whole problem? What is the global agencies or the governments are doing? Because when such big problems come in, everyone shouts that it's the government's problem. No, it's not government's problem. Okay? What the government and agencies are doing, let us have a look. All the governments and most of the effective agencies having this three-angle strategy. They do supply reduction, they do demand reduction, and they do harm reduction. Harm reduction? Harm reduction means rehab. Harm reduction simply means those people who are already addict doing something and getting back into the society. And I still find it is very, very deceiving that even today we are thinking that rehab is an option to fight this problem. No way, guys. I will show you some data and I will show you some examples that what is doing with our all kind of things. This is the real data by UNDP, United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC. Okay? And it shows that 42% people are having the rehab success ratio. What does it mean? If 100 people are getting admitted into rehab, only 42% people can be done it successfully. Only 42 people can come out of it. Okay? And even those people who come out, 73% people relapse into addiction within just 90 days. Let me turn this table and explain and break it down to you. If 100 people become addict, 58 never going to be out of the addiction. They are gone. And those 42 people who will be able to come out of the addiction, out of those 42, 31 are going to be relapsed into addiction. Only 11 people can come out of the addiction. So if we are looking at this third option about the harm reduction and rehab, so in a way, as a society, as a nation, we are waiting that people go into drug trap and then we trying to fix it. Is it never going to happen? This is not just data. It is the fight that is happening since last 70 years in all the promising countries. How do we fight that then? People think that police raids and rehab centers will solve this problem. No. It is never going to solve this problem. To solve this problem, what I personally think is that the best way to fight this addiction is to stop before it starts. As I told you, if anyone takes the first dose, it is very normal that they feel it doing again within 7 days. It is 85% ratio that if someone tries the first dose, within 7 days, that person will try doing it again. So it is very shocking. So what we can do? I feel the second part, the harm reduction, is the source. The harm reduction is the main thing where we can create the deterrence. But the thing is, how we can do this, how we are going to deal this. Let us pause for a moment and ask a question to ourselves. What are those moments when our young people fall into addiction? They fall into addiction when they are empty. They fall into addiction when they are not heard, when their emotions are not understood, when they do not find any purpose in life. What more can be dangerous for this generation that our young people who should be exuberant with the energies are feeling useless and helpless? This is the truth. This is what is happening with all of us. So this is the 6-angle strategy that we always follow. And this is based on the research and data and all the successful projections, how we can stop anyone from going into drugs. I will go in detail, in a brief detail, about all these 6 parts and let you know how we can fight this nuisance. First, I want to take the meditation. People generally understand that if you just cross your legs, close your eyes and do deep breaths, that's meditation. It's not. We need to understand a proper way of doing meditation. Okay, and it is not tough. It is very easy. But the formal education needs to inculcate into doing. Someone needs to make someone sit and teach him how to do the meditation. I want to quote one thing that is very shocking. You may not be connect meditation with drugs directly, but let me give you an example. This is a study done by the Harvard Medical School. And what Harvard Medical School did is that they did perform an experiment on some 600 meditators who were doing meditation since last 12 weeks. Okay? So this is again pharmacology going in. I'm sorry if someone is unaware about all these things. When someone takes the cannabis, that is the molecule, cannabis molecule is going inside and sitting there in the brain. There are cannabis receptors in the brain. We call it cannabinoids. Okay? But our body has its inbuilt system to produce cannabinoids. It is called endocannabinoids. Okay? So some people just directly argue, if there are cannabis receptor in the brain, that means you should do the dose. No, guys, it's not like that. If the brain has the receptors, then body has those inbuilt production and manufacturing system. When it creates endocannabinoid molecules that goes and sits there, so you can stay blissful all the time without getting stoned. This is the direct impact and direct study done by the Harvard Medical School. So this is where the meditation comes into role. Meditation makes you blissful. Meditation never lets you to stay away. You never feel like you are alone and empty. The blissful state, the chemical state is always there. And we need to understand in this current time, it is 2025 guys, that whatever we are feeling, whatever I am feeling and whatever you are feeling is because of certain chemical levels inside the body. We need to learn how to manage it. If after lunch, if everyone is getting sleepy, I am not responsible. Okay, maybe I am responsible for 5-10%, but rest 90% is the hormones. You did a heavy lunch and now your body, your own system is injecting some kind of hormones in your blood flow. That is why it's happening. So this is how it works. Now let us take the first, that is the potential hobbies. See, those people who are quite connected with the potential hobbies, they tend not to follow for such blah blah things because they create their own atmosphere of doing things. Okay, it can be any hobby. Since last 2-3 years, we are working hard and hard to promote astronomy as a potential hobby in young people. This is just an example. Astronomy is a kind of sea outside. Okay, the more you dive in, the more it explores. And it is very easy place to start. You just need a mobile application, stargazing application, going on the terrace during the night time, move it, rotate it, and how it starts. So there are endless options that we can directly inculcate in our youth to start such potential hobbies who can keep our youth entering from those nuisance. We can say drug trap. The third is most important. If I call any of you and ask to go the building that is beside this campus, that is 10-story building, If I ask you to go on the 10th floor and jump, no one will jump. Even if I say if you jump, you will feel the cool air on your face. No one is going to do. You know why? Because novelty seeking doesn't work there. Because that person knows the risk. He knows that if I do this, I am going to die. So the same thing applies to all the sensitization programs. If you show the 9th grade students and the first year students of the college, the consequence of taking the first dose, definitely you can cut down the introductory rate. If someone is aware what could be the consequence by taking the first dose, definitely that person will not go into that. This is the first step we can take. This is the risk assessment we need to give. Risk sensitization is needed. Fourth, outdoors. Definitely is a part of the potential hobby. But I would like to say, outdoor activities, especially the sports, generate so many happy hormones. Okay, you can say different kind of drug, but without getting any kind of minus things. Okay, it actually helps you to live longer. It actually does a lot many good things to you. So outdoors is something that we can introduce our youth to. Now this is very funny thing. I'm quite young to do the philosophical things, but I try to do it. This is parental control. Okay, or I can say the parental connect. Now how this thing is going to happen? There is one small story of one of my keen cousins. Like I'm like maternal uncle to that guy, and both my sister and my Jiju are working professionals. Okay, and he is the only child. No, my Banja is the only child. Now both the parents are working day and night. Why they are working day and night? They want to secure future of that little guy, little chap. Okay, so they are earning day and night, day and night, day and night. But they feel that money will solve all this problem. No, now he is an addict. He is the first year, now he is an addict. Now all those crore rupees, they are not going to use of unless and until that bright chap is back to the society. And as I told you, it becomes very difficult to reinstall anyone in the society. So what I mean to say is that if the parents and the academia coming together and not creating a system, not creating an environment where our youth is like being lapsed from our hands, then this problem is not going to be solved. There are so many countries who tried their best. And under the list, I would to take some names like US, Canada, most of the European countries. Okay, the most powerful economies, the most powerful police, the most powerful policies. Nothing worked even after 50 years of struggle. So drug problem is going to happen anytime in this society. Actually, it is happening. It is a kind of silent pandemic. I do not want to go much into the data, but definitely I can give you one simple statement here based on the data. If we cannot reverse the introductory rate into drugs within 2 decades, forget about fighting with it. We will not be able to reverse that curve then onwards. Because when the drug addicts becomes majority, drug becomes legal. Canada is the example. Okay, then you cannot fight it. You are in the minority. And the person who is already a drug addict, you cannot expect science. You cannot expect humanity out of that person. He needs only one thing in his life, that is drugs. So what I mean to say is that, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time, this is the right time to create a cohesive, coexisting culture between the parents and the academia to come up with such strong and effective ventures, or we can say effective tools to connect our youth to the potential things like good hobbies and potential sports and meditation and related things. I hope you will resonate with the thoughts. I rest my talk here. Jai Hind. Thank you very much.